Hello and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness, Last Orders, Special Christmas Edition. The podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favours, actors and actresses would rather forget they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always are my co-hosts. She's making a list, checking it twice. It's Barney.
Oh, you cut out then, so I've no idea what you said. I'm sure it was hilarious.
Oh, it's fine then. And he's hanging out under a big pile of mistletoe, hoping for a big kiss. It's James.
I'll do that in the Me Too era. Or to be honest, before.
At least you'd not put it over your fly. If you want to follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great and Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness, or email us if you have any suggestions for anything ever at hallmarkgreatness@gmail.com.
I think people should email because we can't be trusted to pick a film.
I mean, having watched this Drek, I mean, it's Christmas, and so it turns out you can just get away with putting anything out there just by putting the word Christmas in it, even if it's not even about Christmas, as we've discovered with a lot of these. What was the one? My dad's Christmas date, which may as well have been called Suicidal Teen. It was just the most depressing thing I've watched ever. I was like, this is not
a really bad feeling about suicide.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. But yes, so email us films to watch that are not terrible, like this one is. I'm assuming, right, no pants, straight into it then. 2010's The Santa Incident. Should change that to a ho 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 at the end. Go on, James, your synopsis based on whatever this is.
Well, bearing in mind, I hadn't seen the film, hadn't properly read the synopsis. I came up with this, which is not too far removed from what it was. Following his detention by Homeland Security for drifting into restricted territory, jolly old Saint Nick is reprogrammed by the agency to fight the war on Christmas. Believing himself to be free at last, the brainwashed Santa is dispatched to list this year. Only Rudolph, the most liberal member of the reindeers, can stop Santa from dishing out all the gifts, but time is ticking until Christmas Day when Santa has promised him a final present for all his hard work. Can he stop the sleigh ride before midnight?
Yeah, that's not far off whatever the hell this is.
It's more competent.
I hated this. Barney, the poster?
Not much to say, except Santa isn't very considerate as he's left a load of unwrapped toys on a hospital floor as he's mooching off to the restricted section.
Where they keep the bad spell books, yeah.
MRS. Ho, ho, ho. I got nothing.
The actual synopsis for this, which is not far from James's, after his sleigh is shot down while flying through restricted military airspace, an earthbound Santa is sought for questioning by a pair of overzealous Homeland Security agents. The fate of Christmas is now in the hands of the disbelieving by-the-book duo unless their faith in Santa can be restored by two children and a trio of elves, brackets who are also children, who have arrived from the North Pole to help out a friend in need. Fucking this film.
Okay, let's dial back a moment, right? So what I did is I searched for the worst rated Hallmark films. I didn't realize that meant bad. I thought it was going to be good bad.
Oh, you thought it was like the 80s? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing, right, it's got a fairly strong cast of people in it.
Yeah.
It does. It's got
James
quite
Cosmo.
a lot of, it's got quite a lot of the Game of Thrones actors in it.
Yes, that too. Yeah, James Cosmo from Highlander and Braveheart. And I'm like, why is he in this? It flabbers my gasts.
I'll tell you why he's
always
in
wanted
this.
to be Santa.
I'm assuming for tax reasons. Let's get into it and get this over with. I'm tired of Christmas.
Well, this was going to be a bit of a bone of contention because the actual copy of this on YouTube doesn't start with the start. It starts about 2 minutes in.
Yeah,
for some reason with Dutch subtitles.
Dutch or German, isn't it?
I ran it through Google Translate and it said Dutch, but that's only one letter away from Deutsch, so
that's it.
So it starts off straight away with the military trying to shoot down a UFO. That's basically all you mean.
Oh, and that's where we're introduced to, is it Hank Ross?
Yep.
Whoever the pilot is. Ross is
Major
the pilot.
Hank Ross.
He's not called Hank Ross. He's just called Ross.
Hank's the sheriff.
Hank's the sheriff that everyone in town wants to bone and invite round for Christmas. Who shoots him down with a special missile or something.
Featuring a shit ball of flame from
Yeah.
Mr. Film, presumably.
Mr. Film
Mr.
strikes
Film
again.
went to town in this, didn't he?
Especially with the elves' weapons of war. Yeah, that was bizarre. He shoots him
What
down.
did they fight back with?
We'll get to it, but they throw like
okay.
a bauble that turns into like some sort of Eye of Sauron style
Oh, I see.
thermonuclear device.
Yeah,
Just
because it comes to
blinds
this bit on YouTube. It's just two kids walking along a dock randomly.
Yeah, that's how it's. That's what I
Which
thought. I was
I
like, "Hey,
thought was a stronger start.
it's a
to be
cold
fair.
open." Yeah.
Did it say? Did you see the 5 days to Christmas at the bottom?
I didn't.
Yes,
So there's a
there is.
countdown. So it's 5 days to Christmas.
And it's in that good digital alarm clock style writing as well.
Oh, I missed that framing device. I had no idea what was going on.
It does it all the way through. Yeah.
No, it does, but I didn't see it at this point. But there's two kids. There's Sophia and Daniel, and she's saying that Daniel should have done his homework rather than going to the ghost factory, which
Where they
which
make the
I don't feel
ghosts.
is ever adequately explained.
Oh, don't. The ghost factory is contention later on because I don't
The
understand.
story of the ghost factory is one of the most tragic things I've ever heard.
Does anybody know how that's rendered in Dutch or German?
Oh, it's got like the spooky house.
The Spookfabriek, which has a fairly good continental air to it.
Yeah, I like that.
That's like a Kraftwerk album.
They're walking through the docks to save time going to school.
Which they're late for.
Yeah, because Daniel's been hanging around in the ghost factory, either manufacturing or working for the ghosts. We're not sure. Could be the ghosts of Christmas past. We never. And Sophia's like, "Don't. We shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to grass you up." And he's like, "No, you won't." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they find a homeless, passed out man lying on the floor with
Santa.
Santa after like an 8-day bender in Vegas.
I love this because the girl pokes him with a lead pipe to wake
Goes
him
against
up.
the pipe.
Yeah.
What's that
I've
for?
got bits of that.
Poking.
Poke him, yeah.
It's because she just like proper picks up this lead pipe. So she's going to
Right.
stove his head in.
It's a big piece of scaffolding.
Santa comes round, fortunately, after she's prodded him with this thing. And then Lucy realizes that he's on a track and a dock train starts up.
Yep.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yep.
And Santa sort of comes round and he says, "Oh, the reindeer's okay." And she tries to pull him. I was going to say tug him off the thing.
No,
pull him off the tracks.
They have to. He passes back out again, and they have to remove him from this train.
Remove him.
And then he phones his mum or the doctor.
Yeah, Daniel the boy, he
Phones
calls the
an
police
ambulance.
up.
Yes, and
yeah.
says there's an intoxicated homeless man at the docks. We've just saved him from being cut in. Right. My thing is, he's got a fractured skull at this point, hasn't he, Santa?
Yeah.
Right. What would have happened if he'd have been cut in half by that train? Would the two halves have merged together, or would we have got two separate little Santas?
Are you thinking like Terminator 2 style, like the two
Like
halves of him
Deadpool
just
sort
like
of thing,
slapped
yeah.
together again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It never happens anyway. And it cuts to them in hospital with Santa in a bed. At this point, we
did
don't know
anybody
it's
get
Santa.
what the name of the hospital is?
I didn't know.
It's a medical centre called the Medical Centre.
Well,
Where's it-
straight to the point.
Wears its heart on its sleeve. Yeah, you're not going to go in there trying to return a book, are you?
Rockwater Bay, it's called. Well, the area is called Rockwater Bay. Yeah. So he's in the ICU being tended by a nurse.
Nurse Joanna, who is the mother of Sophia and Daniel, single mother, and she's yelling at them for going hanging about in the dock.
And she says that as though it's like not the first time. Like
He's always down the docks, Daniel, selling passports, yeah, telling saucy stories to sailors.
She's put a lot of responsibility on them kids because they can't be
Yeah.
old. And she's like, "You need to be at school. I've got to get up at 5.
Single mum.
Single
yeah,
female lawyer."
I think Daniel's supposed to be about 14, is he?
Is he?
Oh, I think he's younger than that.
I have no idea of like aging children.
Maybe the
She-
ghosts of a youth potion.
Oh, that's yeah, and yeah. But she's like, you. When I work in the mornings, you have to get up and get dressed. And I'm like, if he's only 12, that's a lot of. I mean, 12-year-old kids do that, but he's gonna muck about in a dock, isn't he?
And
I mean,
Cracking his
it's not my
annoying
first
sister.
choice as a kid.
Oh, his sister. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Santa has a fractured skull at this point, and he is comatose. He's in a coma.
Yeah, he's in the ICU. He's in a bad way. and he looks like and sounds like when he wakes up, like he's just like powered through a shit ton of special brew. He's like grubby as well. Like he's got like a vest on and it's yellowed.
It's like Rabsy Nesbitt if
I mean,
he was Santa.
Because I didn't see the start at first. I had to go back to that after I'd paid 99p on Amazon Prime to watch it. And like a star comes down and he explodes into a dock. And that makes no sense because when you watch it from like 2 minutes in, it just looks like a drifter. And like, you see it the way that the kids see it. It's brilliant. It's a better opening.
Adds a whole new turn to it, yes.
Anyway, she says that Hank will take them home.
Hank is the local
the one
sheriff.
and only police officer of the town.
Yeah. The most boneable man in town. As the children invite him round for Christmas Day dinner, and Joanna says he's not the only one who's inviting him round for dinner. And I'm like, is he just like the Vicar of Dibley going house to house eating food?
Well, she says that she asks him to read them the riot act a little bit because she says, oh, please, it always carries so much more weight coming from a big man with a badge and a gun. And I thought, she's fucked it, hasn't she? And I was right.
Turns out they used to date about 10 years ago, which doesn't, so he must be less than 10 then. Daniel.
Yeah, I was thinking about 10 years old.
Right.
Then Hank gives them a crossing guard thing. He says you're too young to be a crossing guard, but it's all right for you to get up and go to school in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, he's just giving them narc badges, isn't he? Yeah.
I mean, it's from the sound of it, I know it doesn't look it. It sounds like proper metal that he's got there. Yeah, it must cost him a bomb to manufacture those. Also,
there's no other policeman in the town, and he's got a cupboard full of them.
I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but the Stetson hat that he had on, he gave it to the boy. The boy was wearing it, and I thought, definitely fucked.
Yeah. Oh, I reckon Daniel's his son, and that's why what happened at the Ghost Factory happened. The mystery of the Ghost Factory. They drive them back to school for their last day of school, which sounds like, is it a big deal? You just bring a toy in, don't you, on last day of school?
Just watch a video, don't you?
Yeah, you just watch
Cats versus Dogs we watched. Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, we watched Drop Dead Fred, yeah.
And you got lucky.
Don't like Cats versus Dogs ever since it upset my brother's dog.
Oh, but he was a big soft ass, wasn't
No, but he'd watch Lassie and stuff funny, but we taped that for him thinking it's got dogs and cats in it, and he was like, they're talking, don't like this.
So then it introduces. So he goes to the docks again, introducing the characters of Detective Jerry Erickson and a dunce called Cunningham.
I liked Cunningham because he was clearly like employed to be a boob, and he fills that role expertly.
He does.
Erickson, on the other hand, is a knobhead.
He is
like a legitimate. Like I don't know what they went with when they went to the actor. Okay, play it like this.
Can you play a psychopath, please?
But they must have just gone. Can you be mental? Yeah, and angry about everything.
He has like proper demons. This dude.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, they introduce themselves.
He's the reason why I questioned if it was Hallmark, because the stuff he does is not Hallmark.
He's waving around a gun.
Children with violence at one point, and then tries to beat the fuck out of Santa.
Tries to interrogate. Oh no, we'll get onto that later. What he does to Santa. All right, but yeah, Cunningham says. Cunningham says, "What are we looking for?" And Erickson says, "The impossible." And I thought, right, this is shit, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the detective gloves up and explains that there was a unexplained flying object, UFO, and then he finds a single jingle bell in the gutter.
He does just conveniently, and Erickson tells that he does that thing of like, I'm taking over this case now, special agent sort of thing. And it's like, okay, he's in the hospital.
They have the worst dynamic, the two of them. It's not even funny.
There was a bit that made me laugh, but the rest of it.
They drive off without him.
No, it's when he changes the mobile phone ringtone and then just starts singing. That was quite fun. They get into the case. He's like, right, we'll go to the hospital and interrogate him then. And then they get in the car and he leaves Cunningham behind and drives off. I'm like, that's a bit of a jerk move. Right? He also keeps calling him like the wrong name all the way through it as like a running joke.
Yeah, but they give up on that really quickly as well.
They do it about 3 times and they can't think of any more alternate names for Cunningham.
It's like Cameron and I've not even noted them down because it was so stupid. Anyway, he diverts off to get coffee from Moonbooks, they call it.
Yeah.
Leaves Conan behind. And then it cuts to the hospital where they turn up looking for Santa.
I just start yelling at a comatose man in a bed.
Not before, did anybody catch what they called Hank?
I didn't know.
They very summarily calls him Big Boy and then strides off confidently to an unspecified ward. To a hospital he's never been in before.
It's the medical building. We can't call it a hospital. Yeah, Joanna's like, stop yelling at Santa. Stop yelling at this man in the bed. He's clearly comatose. You're not going to get any answers out of him. And they go, okay, here's my card. We'll be back. You phone us when he wakes up because we've got
He wakes up,
questions to ask this man. Oh, okay. And then I can't remember. I literally can't remember anything about it. I've just finished this film.
That's it, really. I mean, they just sort of go to like beat up Santa for some reason, even though he can't speak or anything.
Well, they keep going on about Leipzig or Leipzig.
Actually, I didn't mind that bit. Yeah, they were like quibbling about whether it's Leipzig or Leipzig.
It's Leipzig.
It was funny for like half a second. And
It
then they
felt
sort of
like
play
a
it
lot
out
of-
too much.
A lot of their stuff felt like just improvise some stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it repeats a lot of the same thing over and over and over again.
For a brief moment, there's a man with aviators on who's all forehead walking along.
Oh, he was the bad guy because he had villain music and a leather jacket.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but-
it looked like classic villain.
He did look like classic villain, and that's the misdirect here,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And also, he's played by Bruce Bolton.
He is played by
He
Bruce
is,
Bolton.
yeah.
In the bizarre
Bad guy
before he learned to act.
Michael McEllerton.
Like Elton, yes.
And it only struck me then that he looks like a young Charles Dance. They could have done
Yes.
something
Yeah.
with that in the casting of Game of Thrones, but they did the first of many mistakes.
We don't speak of Game of Thrones anymore. I can't even remember it.
Anyway, Daniel walks into the ghost factory. Does anybody want to introduce what this place looks like?
It looks like a place where a ska band would shoot heroin.
That is perfectly it. It's somewhere around the docks.
He's obsessed with with two filming locations.
We got the docks and the medical centre.
That's pretty much it. And their house, yeah.
Yeah,
With
and
the great
he's-
view of an archipelago. Um,
and Daniel is just like twatting a beam with a sword
yeah.
or with a
the way it
plank
was
of
like-
wood.
There's
There's
no
a
lead pipes
piece-
in the ghost factory.
There's a piece of graffito of a pirate that he's attacking and making ha ha sounds. It's also the place where he keeps a picture of his dad in a gigantic trunk and a fan and a nautical clock, and now his badge, which he
Yay.
rests one on top of the other.
Where he keeps all his treasures in the ghost factory.
And then that's it.
Sophia appears and is like, "Can I play?" And he's like, "No, we're leaving the ghost factory now. I've had enough ghosts for today." And they walk back to their house, don't they?
Yeah, well, I don't think he goes back. So, because the next scene is Sophia and Joanna, the lady nurse, dressing the tree.
With about 3 ornaments. And she goes, "Oh, look, it's done." I'm like, "You're going to need
That's
more
us
ornaments
for the
than that."
We're getting these on layaway. They'll be
They applaud each other, and then Sophia receives a perfunctory peck on the head from her mother. And then at that moment, Santa wakes up saying, "Mistletoe," which is almost like a Citizen Kane moment. For the film.
no. Well,
If it had just died, then.
Well, what he was shot down with was a tow missile. That's the joke, isn't it?
Oh, right, I didn't really get that.
I've just made that up. It isn't. It's a Futurama joke, but yeah.
That would have made so much
That
more
would have been a
sense.
fun pun, wouldn't it? Yeah, you see, already punching this up.
Because
Carry on.
I think there is something about mistletoe rocket or something.
Ross keeps going on about this special missile that he hit him with all the way through.
Because I noticed that the Dutch didn't even bother to translate it. To just go like with missile, I don't know.
Don't know what this is about.
The edited version that the Dutch have made would have been fascinating.
The Dutch have no time for special effects. They want to start gritty in a dock with a homeless man about to be cut in half by a train.
With no ending.
And the ending, you'll never know.
Santa clearly has been knocked on the head because he says that he is serviceable and then talks about 2 solicitous children.
Yes, they rescued him. It's very strange that at this point he's using very sort of archaic language, and then later on he just abandons that. And I was like 90% sad that there wasn't a rap. Like he did a fun rap, like the rapping grandma in The Wedding Singer or something like that.
That would have been brilliant. And then it cuts to, so he says that you could just call me Nick, and he does the whole thing of like, he is Santa Claus, but the adults don't want to call him Santa Claus because they're too old. And then I put, it looks like he's been at the bells again, and I was very pleased with myself.
He pulls out his jingle bells and does the reindeers in the stupidest order that doesn't even rhyme. That annoyed me.
Yeah, that was weird.
But there's
He's just showing off that he can remember them without the rhyme.
without the rhyme. Yeah, it's like 30 Days After September. You've got to do it twice, haven't you? Because you forget what you're going for the first time. And there's one missing, which is the one that the cop has picked up.
Yeah.
And it turns out he needs all the jingle bells to summon his sleigh or some equally
Yeah, to get
facetious
his reindeer.
nonsense.
But on the first scene that we see where they're on the dock, I swear you can see the sleigh being lifted in the background.
Is it not a shipping container?
It looks like a sleigh.
I mean, if Mr. Special Effects was not paying attention.
Because then at the end, I was very confused when he jingled his bells.
Yeah, oh, and doesn't do copyright, yeah. So he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. She's like, no, you've got a fractured skull. And he's like, no, I've not.
Check it.
And they give him more radiation to the noggin. And they're both like, oh, there must have been a hair on the previous slide. And they're fine with that. That's medical care in America at the medical centre. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, he's not got insurance, has he? So
Of course. He pays him in gingerbread men or something, probably.
probably.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to more detective nonsense.
Oh.
Back at this fucking shitty office that they found. That's their lair for the rest of the.
It's their hideout.
It's
Yeah.
like it's on the dock as well, isn't it? This
Everything
office
is on the
fans.
dock. They got the dock for a weekend, like when the Suez Canal ship turned round or something. And they're like, film. Yeah, film. It's this dingy little grotty office, and they're just doing bits in there, and it's
Yeah, they've moved in there, and Cunningham is hoovering up, which is a bad sign of anything that you just rented, as I know well. Ericsson pins up 2 blown-up photos of Santa on a sleigh. It was too grainy for me to really work out what it was, but I think it was of Santa on the sleigh. And
it
then
was
he
Santa
says,
and some elves.
It was the elves.
The elves
that,
are doing faces like that.
because the missile
Yeah.
had a video camera attached to it,
"Of course it did."
which Ross explains later, and when it reveals who he is. Spoilers.
You fire off a cruise missile or something.
It would have been an air-to-air missile, so like I don't know why they bother putting a camera on it, but
Ericsson says that he points to the photos and says this is the human element of the intruder network, an extraterrestrial network bent on world domination,
Yeah.
which is a lot more frightening in Dutch.
The intruder network sounds
Dit
like
is
something off
het
that brass eye.
Mensenrijk, element van de Indra's network. The Dutch have got a word for intruder network all of their own.
Yeah, of course they do. It sounds like one of those, like a made-up thing from that Brass Eye special. The Intruder Network. But yeah, his theory is that this man is part of some alien conspiracy, but he's going to arrest him on smuggling charges or something.
Yeah, so he says that he's been seen trading manganese in the Congo, in Kazakhstan with highly refined aluminium, and shipments are going missing. And then I put these are highly serious allegations, which he then follows up with giving grief to Cunningham about the phones that he should have got in, even though this is 2010 and everyone's got mobiles now.
Yeah.
And they've only just moved in. And it's
I
like,
just
ages.
I've just wrote Hank has issues.
He's a very angry man.
So I don't know why Hank has issues. Do we meet Hank afterwards? And does he explain the why he doesn't want to go Christmas dinner or something?
I didn't get why he didn't want to go to Christmas dinner. Is it just that he's accepting invitations from every hot single female lawyer?
Like Pat Mustard in Valentine's. A lot of hairy
Pretty much.
babies in.
She asks him again, doesn't she? She's like, "Are you sure you can't come to Christmas dinner?" He's like, "I'm working or something." It's just like
There's only
Hank's got
one cop
issues,
in this
mate.
town. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it cuts to him yet though, because Santa is in the infirmary. He says that he's healed, gets his bag of stuff, which comprises of a pair of glasses and some bells. No pants in there. No shoes.
He's got his janitor dungarees.
He's got his Santa sack, yeah. Did the children not come and visit him? And he says to Sophie, like, "Yeah, I am Santa," and she's like, "I knew it."
There is actually there is another, because there's lots of tiny little scenes, and the detectives have a run in
Yeah.
with a sniffy Hank. I've put, but it
cuts
doesn't really go
about
anywhere.
quite a lot, yeah.
Well, that must
just-
be where
yeah.
Hank's got issues.
He just doesn't like him because they're
Yeah.
out of town federal agents, big government, that Hallmark line. Whereas
Yeah.
he's a nice local small town cop who has drinks with French
Everyone. The
restaurateurs.
bizarre French restaurant, man.
But yeah, then we cut to Daniel attacking some more wall graffiti, and then they go off to get Santa because the mum rings, and then they have a nice sort of like time with Santa at the infirmary, who's about to go. Oh no, he's going to be kept overnight for.
Kept overnight, but then he's going to go and stay at Joanna's house as is standard.
Because
Yeah.
you do that with Mad
Because
Men. you
random old men in piss-stained vests, yeah.
Yeah.
But Sophia believes in Father Christmas and wants this motorbike for a doll because she wants to be Das Motorbike Cop when she grows up. I don't know why I'm doing it in German, even though I know it's Dutch now, but yeah.
Van motorbike agents, I think it was in the subtitles.
Motorbike agent. And Daniel is like, Mum's got the presents in the car. Santa's not real. And Santa's like, oh, I only make measure of people who are naughty and nice, not about those who believe. And I'm like, is that how it works?
I think that's like a standard line, isn't it, in every grotto? Because like
Right.
younger siblings will rat on the older ones for not believing, and then they've got to diffuse the tension. I could see that. It's a standard line. And then and he gives them presents, doesn't he? Santa gives them presents. He's whittled a
Out of things from the hospital. So I imagine this is made out of like bedpans
No,
and used
no.
bandages.
Before that, non-union Ben Stiller comes back and threatens the mum.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. The
And then
detectives go
he
back.
threatens Santa and tells him that he will bury him so deep no pointy-eared elves will be able to find him or something like that.
Yes, because he's announced, Santa has announced that his elves will come and help him.
Yeah.
Or some
It's
nonsense.
dialogue like that is so like eerie and yet so festive that it's actually really creepy. The whole thing was like, it was a mixture of that. It was like high and low all the time. It's like two different films that collided, and
So then-
Hallmark just decided on it.
So then after that, it comes up 4 days to go.
Oh yeah, but
And that's when he does his presents because he's been in the hospital overnight and he's
Ah,
found all
okay.
broken stuff to fix.
Yes.
Right. The nurse, right, tells off the detectives because the detectives interrogate the kids about the debris because they realize for the first time the kids are involved in this. They found Santa, therefore they need to,
They're part of the
they're
intruder
part
network.
of the whole alien conspiracy or something. And then, the nurse tells them off, and Erickson says that she can just disappear with a phone call.
Yeah,
So
which
mu-
was dark.
That
and
was
then
it, yeah.
probably my favorite line from this. So much for counting on help from the local gentry. What? What are you talking about?
I don't
Natra?
think Greg German had a script. I think he thought he was genuinely being a cop
Yeah, I can't imagine what the script for this looked like.
in crayon. Yeah, but the fact that she was like, I can make you disappear with that's a bit dark for a Christmas film, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gives them a pirate ship and he's made a motorbike for her doll so she can be Das Motorbike Auto Cop. And then they're like, come and live with us, madman. And he's like, sweet, I'll come there and we'll do some stuff.
Yeah.
As is the way.
So he goes home with them. The detectives let Santa go because they're planning to use him as bait so that his elves will turn up and they can do a sting operation on the whole shebang. And
They have a little tussle in the car about how many M's are in the word comrade.
oh god, I think I blanked that out. So stupid
I would've
because Cunningham says it's Russian and the other one says it's not Russian, which it's not.
They go back and forward on that for a
For a-
good 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to fill 2 minutes. All right, we'll argue about this for a bit.
And but he does that good thing of like, it is Russian under his breath, which again made me laugh.
They have Christmas dinner at the family with Santa. They have a number of late night dinners that look like
Yes.
Christmas dinners because they've got all the paraphernalia out. But she says that she can't do a honey ham this Christmas either. And
So
then
you'll
I've
have
just
to have
put
turkey.
rum
Yes.
ham.
Rum ham. Yeah, it's a thing that Americans don't have turkey at Christmas. They have
Really?
they have it for Thanksgiving, and they tend to
Oh
have
yeah, I get that.
ham.
Actually.
Like a big joint of ham or something for the Christmas day.
Yeah,
apparently.
you wouldn't want two big
I
turkey
wouldn't-
dinners too close together.
Well,
I
want
wouldn't
turkey any day,
I wouldn't
yeah.
want one at all. Yeah,
Oh yeah, you've got a weird thing about roast, haven't you, you heathen?
I just don't. Turkey is the worst of all the meats, right? I don't care what anyone says. And roast dinners are an abomination to God.
Okay, and on that
And that
note,
got the silence that it deserved.
on that note, they tell the story of the Ghost Factory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 days to Christmas now. Do.
Daniel
Why-
comes in because he's been at the ghost factory, just clocked off from his shift on the ghost lathe. And it turns out that this is the bizarrest bit in any film. Turns out Daniel and Sophie's dad used to take them to the abandoned heroin den
And Mum would go too sometimes.
when she wasn't working, and they'd just pal about in there, like throwing milk bottles at each other or whatever.
Until one Christmas Eve,
For Christmas Eve, his dad took him there and then just fucked off.
abandoned in the Ghost Factory.
And I'm like,
It's one of those things where I was noting it down at the same time that it was playing on screen, and I was just like, right, and just like wrote that
I
out
was just
verbatim.
like, Dad, can we go to the park? No. We're going to the abandoned factory again, where the ghosts live. Oh, Dad, can we go to like the trampoline park? No, I reckon he buried gold or something there.
There's,
But that's
there's
it.
like
And he's,
subtext there somewhere.
and
I can't figure out what it is.
But if I was abandoned somewhere, I wouldn't want to keep going back and mooching around.
I
He
think
left him in his
theory is
favourite place, though, the docks. The kid loves the docks.
Which kid doesn't?
that he's got salt in his lungs. I think Daniel's theory is that if he hangs about there enough, his dad will come back. Like
Yeah.
the ghost factory's taken him, and eventually, if he puts in enough hours, it will return him as a
Sad.
wage.
Sad but plausible. His mum comforts him, so he's getting a bit overwhelmed by Santa being in the house, being so kind and everything, Christmas present, things like that. And he says to his mum that he wants to be just like Hank and not like the dad who left. And this Hank lines get hammered and hammered and hammered over and
Because
over
Hank
again.
is his dad, we've already established.
We already know that.
Yeah.
In fact, it probably was him down at the docks with just a fake moustache. Rips it off. No, I'm Hank.
Come, let's go into this spooky factory.
Right, 3 days to go.
Blazing through this.
Well, it is a little bit weird in that
Santa goes
Time.
to breakfast with kids.
time counts down very weirdly in this film because it's like Christmas Eve for days.
Yeah, Santa, because Joanna's still working in the morning, so she goes, "Here, random stranger,
Take
look
my
after
kids out.
look after my children. I'm not going to give you any cash or anything, but take them for breakfast in."
But
At Mr. Renard's, yeah,
yeah,
Is it Mr.
I love
Renard?
him. He's my favourite character.
definitely.
The pantalon
Caricature.
fancies.
And an outrageous accent. But
I'm sure he says sacre bleu at
He
one
does
point.
say sacre bleu
Does say
later on,
sacre bleu. Santa's happy to do this because he wants to assemble materials, which is another red flag for any parent.
I mean, that makes him sound like a terrorist to me. He's like, "Oh, that's by a lot of
Yeah.
fertilizer and saltpeter over here."
Wouldn't be surprised to see him carrying that around because you see Santa like going around with like bits of rope and
Yeah,
manganese or something.
He's basically a hoarder. That's what he
Yeah.
is. He's like one of the people that I'll take this VCR home I found in a bin because I'll be repairing it one day.
It's
Except
all right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking it to the ghost factory.
He's got jars of his own hair in there and stuff.
Anyway, they go to have breakfast at Mr. Renard's, who is a man with an aggressively festive restaurant, appropriate for Hallmark. He says that something must be done. There's no clean plates for the lunch rush. No one to do dishes and so on. So Santa overhears this and says that he could do it. And the Frenchman goes, "I can't pay you."
I'll pay you much. And then Santa goes, "Oh no, I'll just have a root around in your bins if that's all right." Like a big raccoon. And like Mr. Renard's like, "Bon!" Yeah. So he
I
goes
want to
in.
see a rewrite of this where Santa is just a raccoon all along.
Santa abandons the kids and goes and does some
Yeah.
washing up.
He does like there's two big crashing noises, and then he comes out, and Mr. Renard's like, "What has happened in there?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm done." And I'm surprised he doesn't go Zootala there. And yeah, Santa's washed all this stuff up in seconds because he's got magic on his side. But see, this annoys me later on as well. Wasting his magic because he's only got a limited amount that he says, and he's using it to wash up to get free scran and some egg boxes from a Frenchman.
There was also a sign on the wall that I thought said "no," but it turned out in a later scene that it said "notice," but they'd cut out the first bit.
It would be good if it was just random French words on the wall.
Live, laugh, sacre bleu.
No, Bon.
So
but
he asks Renard if he can. He said, "Oh, I noticed that there was some stuff in there you were going to throw away. Can I have it?" And Renard folds his money away, puts that away sharpish, like.
well, it's because he's quite counting it at the counter before.
Twirling his moustache.
Rubbing his moustache.
I'm surprised he's not got a string of onions round his neck and a baguette as well.
He's setting the dock train off because he's got a damsel attached to the rails.
He's the king of the dock. I've got hiccups now from laughing much. And so Santa just grabs more trash and he's like, "Come on, we're going."
And then he goes out into the streets for possibly the weirdest of many weird scenes in this film, where there's a dog barking at people. So Santa decides to rub its face until it's very happy.
Yeah, he does like Crocodile Dundee shit to it and calms it down. Yeah.
I thought, and I haven't gone back to check this, that there is like a weird light over its.
He does. It's the
Face?
magic from his hand.
Oh,
Again,
right, so, yeah.
wasting magic.
on a
Just
dog.
to make a dog stand. Because
Ah,
the
I
dog's
get that.
tied up, because he's no harm to anybody. So
Yeah.
He's just having a bark. Dog's
Because I
bark.
thought, oh, what's he going to get out of this? Is this dog going to save his life? Nope.
No, never mentioned again. It's just to show that he is Santa and he has got magical prowess. But it's a very long scene as well.
Yeah.
This dog calming scene.
especially, we didn't need it because we've just seen him wash up in 2 seconds.
Also, what is the main export of this town? Why have they got a dock?
Dogs.
They export more docks.
It's for the ghost factory. For what they bring in, Scooby-Doo.
There's detectives at the house at this point. Cunningham does a neat little jump over a small hedge
Oh, yes.
and then gets, he is staff, isn't he? He just falls over and then gets a load of tools out for unlocking the door, just like break it in. And Erickson just opens the door and then they start going around and setting bugs and stuff like that around the house.
Yes, which I don't think you're allowed to legally do, but I guess.
No.
You need a warrant, yeah.
Yeah, well, Ericsson is a rogue agent, isn't he? As it turns out, anyway.
Meanwhile, Santa's working on some netting under the dog with really speedy, fast hands. And I
He's
didn't
repairing
notice
that for the fishermen so they
get
can
some
go
free
out.
rope out of it.
Yeah, he basically operates on a sort of rag and bone man style steptoe system where he will trade you like goods and services for bits of tat. It's very strange. I don't know. Is that how Santa operates?
He does weird trades in all sorts of things
In,
all
in
over the
December,
world.
he just builds things, but the rest of the time he's establishing like this trade network throughout, selling plutonium to the Libyans. Yeah.
And then the detectives must fuck off at this point because Bruce Bolton turns up at this house, hammering on
Joanna's-
the window.
Joanna's at home, and Bruce
Yeah.
Bolton starts banging on the window, going, "Let me in!" And she's like, "I'm gonna phone the police."
Which you would. Very sinister scene.
Whoa.
What? Sorry, we've missed a massive, important bit of plot.
So he's got his blurry fast hands. He's making thousands of robots.
Right. Again, this is the thing with these films. Why is Santa always making like antiquated, like robot toys and clockwork shit? Kids don't want that.
Well, that's all he knows how to make.
He makes a frog that goes like that later on.
We've all had one of them frogs.
From Blackpool, yeah.
And the rabbits that move along and like backflip and stuff.
Yes.
I mean,
But
that was cool.
then
I'd have one of them.
it's 2 days to go, and Santa's making an apple pie.
Yes.
And then Bruce
Yes,
turns
sorry.
up at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't that
sorry.
before Mr. Renaud and everything?
No.
Oh, am I all
'Cause,
messed up?
he goes, "Oh, I'll take the kids out for Sundays," and then they go to Mr. Renard's again with Hank.
Ah, yeah.
for
Sorry,
some
there's a
rea-
lot of this.
Yeah, and he's like, "When the bell goes off, the pie will be ready," which is quite like prophetic in a way. But for some reason, he sat in Mr. Renard's with like a diorama of a roof explaining how he does it. Where has he got that from?
He's made it with his
Probably
fast
made it with his
hands.
fast hands. Yeah.
He got some metal sheet in and just.
Yeah, but he explains that he can't use magic to deliver the toys. He has to do it manually because he only has enough magic to enable him to make the toys every year. He has a limited supply of magic, and he's
And
already
make
burnt.
dogs quiet.
He's already burnt through that, washing up and calming a dog.
And
So that's-
fixing his skull, because surely that was magic.
I think it might just be a mutant healing factor thing, like Wolverine.
All the time when people are darting about at this point, my favorite thing about the detectives is that they track people by driving a very conspicuous car about 12 feet behind them at all times.
And put that big ass aerial out the window so they can
But this is when Bruce Bolton shows up, and that's when the door is like, "Let me in."
hear.
And she goes, "No, I'm going to phone the police if you don't go away." And he's like, "Well, I'm not going away." So she she phones up the police station. There's an operator there. She just put me through to Hank. And Hank's having his ice cream sundae with Mr. Renard, who's sat down. I think when he explains the magic, Mr. Renard goes, "Sacre bleu!" That's when it happens.
Mr. Renard mentions that he's made 1.8 billion toys in one night to elicit that sacre bleu.
Yes.
Which is a lot of toys for the Ghost Factory. Doesn't look that big.
But it's
You
not.
certainly
not
don't see
all-
1.8 billion toys.
It's not all in the Ghost Factory, but later on they say it is explained. It does tie in.
What is the Ghost Factory like? L space for all other Ghost Factories.
No.
It's like linked to everywhere
It's
around
just
the
he
world.
had to have somewhere to store the stuff that he was making with his fast hands.
Yeah, because Santa takes the kid to his little workshop now, doesn't he?
Well, before that, Bruce Bolton is like, "I need to explain to you who I am," and she gets through to Hank. She's like, "Hank, there's a madman here. I think she says, I think I'm having a home invasion."
She does, yeah.
Yeah, when he's outside the door.
It's like, that's just someone knocking, mate.
But I thought that is probably how I would sound on the phone.
Just
I
quite
think
calm and
It might just be the postman,
yeah. And he goes, no, right. I'm like Airman Ross, and I was the one that shot down Santa. And she goes, Hank, don't worry about it. And Hank's like, all right. He's sat there eating his ice cream, and he's like, he doesn't actually even at that
Oh
point.
no, he says that he'll come over.
No, he
though.
comes with his baton.
Oh yeah, he can-
Oh, does he?
yes, yeah.
Ooh, thank you.
And he explains that he was one that shot him down, and he's here. He knows Erickson and Cunningham, and he knows that they want to put him in an underground dungeon where he can't escape from for some reason. I don't know why Erickson's so mad at him.
I think
He's been chasing him his whole life. He's got nothing else.
It's
He's done
something that
nothing
happened in
else.
Leipzig.
Oh yeah, he says something about this. His Santa's sleigh nearly killed him and plunged federal agents, him among them, into a freezing river in Leipzig. And then he asked Cunningham to locate his killer instinct. I thought because they're still staking stuff out at this point.
Yes, they're sat in the car. I think this is where the bit where the phone rings from high command, and Cunningham has changed it to A Christmas Carol, and he's like, "Don't ever change my phone." And I was like, "It's fine. It's a fun thing."
There's a few things at this point because they have like a little fight over binoculars, which have got egg on them for
For some reason.
Oh, it's got like wet egg on them. I thought it was a bit that we'd done.
Ross explains
that
that
leached out into the
he's
Hallmark
trying
universe.
to help. He's trying to put right what he's done wrong. Hank shows up, threatens to put the window through, and she just opens the door. I'm like, this isn't a home invasion either. And they're like, we need to get Santa and like protect him because Erickson is gonna come for him, and so we have a plan. By this point,
Yeah.
Santa has taken the kids to the ghost factory that he has turned into a sweatshop for himself, where he's making stuff with fast hands and asks the kids if they want to help. They get fast hands.
They get fast bodies, the whole lot. They were just like a blur doing it.
They've done a ton of cocaine for this.
And then they laugh hysterically at what they've done.
Do you want to hear it?
I specially requested this.
You're on the wall.
I think that's like a Lost Madcap Laughs track or something.
All these little Chinese like rubbish toys, like the dogs that do backflips and stuff like that, just going around the table and they're laughing at them like they've just got out of Joseph Fritzl's basement. It's the strangest thing because nothing funny's happening.
No.
Nothing funny's happening. It's just toys doing toy stuff. But it's it's just maniacal.
Increasingly manic laughter, yeah. Yeah. That was also quite a long time. I think it was like a full minute, which equates to about 80% of a Jimmy Bennett walking bit.
Well, that clip is 20 seconds, and that's when they start laughing. But there's
Yeah,
a
there's
whole
a
bit
whole,
before it, yeah.
The whole beginning to end, how it works style documentary.
But they've just made all this stuff. Santa shows him a bird at one point and then laughs, like right in his face. I don't know why. But then don't they decide that like they come up with a plan to protect Santa? Oh no, the fucking elves have showed up
The
at this
elves
point.
Yeah,
turn
so
up.
The elves, which
Lionel
are
and
three
the
children.
other
One
elves.
of them's Irish for some reason.
Can't discriminate.
I thought this was really weird as well because having not seen the very start of it, and you only see the elves for a fraction of a moment. This is your first introduction to the elves, and they are essentially Irish ninjas.
They're
Really
well,
annoying.
only one of them is Irish.
The
The other
It
girl
didn't
is
feel that way to
doubly
me.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they look like tiny Antifa. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very.
And they put a robot on the floor and they're like, find him. And he's going, oh, signal over
That
here.
fucking robot. I swear to
Short
God.
circuits his way towards his master. Yeah.
That's clearly ADR'd over the top because that robot doesn't make those noises.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's that the robot is used to track the bells.
Don't
They
know
have
that at this point. I don't think they mentioned the bells.
I didn't understand what this.
I thought they were tracking Santa at first.
Yeah.
I thought they were tracking Santa.
So they're running about doing all sorts of stuff. One of them's Irish, and
And called Lionel.
no, he's called Hamley,
Which one's Lionel?
the one that isn't Irish or a girl.
I don't remember that character.
He
I
has
thought the
about-
girl was called Lionel, and I thought this
No,
is
she's
quite
called
ahead for its
Parker.
time.
Yeah.
She's called Annoying.
Okay,
She's called Parker.
that's an annoying name. Sorry to any Parkers out there.
Milady. That's
No, it's better than Lionel. Sorry to any Lionels out there.
Lionel. He's dead now.
Are we on Christmas Eve now?
Yep, it's officially Christmas Eve.
Woo!
Santa talks to Joanna while cops listen in, like every Christmas Eve.
Oh, just before that, and the day before, Hank goes to Joanna's and has pie. Not like that. While he's there, Santa's told him to go because when they're having the thingies, the Sundays, Hank's like, "Oh, I can eat some apple pie now, Monsieur Renard," and Santa goes, "No, wait." And then he goes to Joanna's and the thing goes bing and he's like, "Oh, I have apple pie now." And it's like Santa knew all along. He set all
he
this
goes,
up.
"How was your apple pie?" Nudge,
Wink,
nudge, wink, wink.
There we go. Thank you.
Get your own buttons.
With blackjack.
But Christmas Eve, yes, we're here. We're nearly there now. The longest day.
Pretty much. The daft cop is operating a laptop on his knee, listening into this conversation, and prodding the laptop by means of the end of his tie, which doesn't really work properly.
No.
Why would it?
He's got egg on his hands, probably. He's just always eating wet eggs in that car, and it just gets everywhere, doesn't it?
Does anybody want to talk about the discussion that Santa and Joanna have? Because I thought it was rather pointed.
I can't remember it.
Stop listening.
Is
She
it
says,
some?
no, sorry, he says, tell me, Joanna, why do you never ask for anything at Christmas anymore? When your husband left, you didn't ask for him back. And then she's like, fuck off.
I don't think Santa has that power, does it? I can give you a tiny clockwork robot, but I can't force someone to love you. That's against
This
the
is
rules.
dialogue that should have been in the film.
This is against the rules of magic. The genie in Aladdin can't bring anyone back from the dead. Can't make people fall in love with you. That's the rules.
She drives off, understandably upset because Santa's way overstepped.
Yes.
Hank turns up at the door, and then he has a very frank conversation with Santa about why Santa wants to fix him up with Joanna. And he says that she only likes men who are in need of repair. And I thought, have I missed a scene? Because how?
No.
What?
The reason Hank and Joanna broke up was something to do with his punctuality, I believe.
Is that because he's a cop, so he's late?
And Joanna's up to nefarious stuff. She's selling organs out of the medical centre.
Well, she's the only one who works there.
To be fair, she's the only one you ever. No, you see a doctor when they're doing the thing.
True.
He
But
goes,
she has a lab jacket and a pager. She's a nurse.
she's
They
the only
don't
one in the
keep
medical
nurses.
centre. In
Oh, no,
Boulder
there is a-
Creek or whatever they do.
In the docks, they do.
Docktown. They should have renamed this film Docktales. Woo.
Everyone goes into town at this point after getting mixed up in everyone's romantic lives to a marine supplies shop on the dock called Marine Supplies.
Again, they're very, very literal in this town. Apart from Mr. Renard,
Which is probably just called Mr. Renard's. I don't
it's probably
think
just
we
called
ever-
cakes and that.
Is this where the two cops try and follow him, but they've lost the keys and they do a good 5 minutes of where are
Yes.
the keys?
Yeah, they do eventually manage to follow him again at a pace of like
Literally, you could
9 miles per hour.
you
a
could get one of
distance of 2 meters.
Sophia's special hitting poles and poke them in it.
But everyone's there because everyone's following one another. So Charles Dance is there, Roose Bolton, he's following him. Santa's going there. The elves are descending from a high.
Yeah, the elves do like this really long, convoluted chase sequence thing where the robot's like lost, tracking,
And
and
then they start beating the shit out of Ruth.
yeah, Roose appears and Lionel like literally kicks fuck out of it. And they find
I
this-
liked that.
yeah, and he's like, no, I'm here to say I'm sorry that I nearly killed you with, advanced grade weaponry. But live and let live, innit? Like, and
While
they
they're
find
doing this, Santa strides off behind them. They miss him entirely. And he's got some petrol in a can.
Yes, he does.
he's drinking that.
I think that's for the magic fireball later on.
Well,
Santa's doing Hadoukens.
now you come to mention it.
Hokens. Yeah, but the elves and young Charles Dance find the cops' office that's got a safe in it. The robot leads them to the safe.
How did they get through the door, though? The glass door.
Before that, they put a load of shit on the floor outside. And then
A lot of them squishy stress ball things.
yeah, and Charles Dance goes, "What's that?" And she goes, "Like anti-personnel mines or something." And I was like, "Okay." And instead of using magic like elves do, they just cut like a circle of glass out of this door.
Why
And
do they
then-
do this
String.
for a profession? Yeah.
like cat burglars. They are dressed like cat burglars, to be honest. But yeah, but they cut enough so that the girl can go through, and then she opens the door from the inside. So why not just cut a small hole and put your hand through?
I got time for that.
Yeah,
It's a step up from the Irish method. Let's give
And-
the filmmakers that.
The silly string cuts through glass, but not through a safe.
yeah. I thought
They
they were going
couldn't
to do
cut
some.
open the safe.
I thought they were going to do some magic in there with that or something, but no.
The safe stalls them long enough for plot reasons.
Yes. Ross goes outside and they use him to deter anyone. Can you control any civilians? And he's like, Roger, Roger. And then just because there's not many people in this film, there's a cast of about 12. The cops walk back and he tries to stop them and a fight breaks out. And I think
Cunningham a kaleidoscope, which proper makes me laugh.
yeah, because Ericsson and young Charles Dance have a. I think he pushes him over. Like,
They do
take
shuffy pushy.
that, take that. Yeah,
And then Ericsson just straight up punches him on the nose.
he does.
Which must have been one of the points where you watched this, as did I, thinking, is this really Hallmark?
Yeah,
And
2010
it is.
Hallmark was wild, mate.
Yeah.
We've got the
Uh,
heroin factory. We've got violence. We've got a guy waving a gun around in a bit.
Cunningham,
threatening-
as you said, he's high as a kite or something because he
No, he just
goes out
likes
of his
the
mind on this kaleidoscope.
When he
Yeah,
falls
loves
into
it.
the dock.
They go, what does he like? And they go like, he likes glittery things, and he's got a short attention span.
Because they pulled his file.
Because he's a magpie.
Well, as long as you salute him, you're fine.
It distracts him so much that he falls into a dock as well.
Yeah.
Someone was going to fall into the dock at some point. It had to happen. It's fucking.
And then
dumb.
Ericsson kicks Ross in the nuts.
Yeah, he does.
Again, is this Hallmark? I think using the family movie score thing. This is like a -1 at this point.
And then I think this is my favourite scene in the whole thing.
Go on.
Pulls his gun on the elves. They disappear and confetti appears. And then he just starts shooting shit out of the room.
Yeah, Ericsson's got problems, mate. It's a good special effect, that though. I thought it was nice.
He shoots the robot, which is no bad thing.
It
and he-
explodes.
He comes millimeters away from shooting the picture of Santa on the wall, which I was
And
told
then-
was meant to be symbolic.
Scores what I believe is a 2 on the dartboard as well.
I forgot about the dartboard. It was a genius scene.
There's moments of greatness in here, but a lot of it is just mental. Hank says to the kids, right, we're going to hide Santa, but they're going to come to your house looking for him, and you have to tell him that he's not there, which he isn't. So, like, I don't know why you have to lie, but... And then they come round, they do a room-by-room sweep of the house. Santa's at the ghost factory. The elves are doing something at this point.
It does lose it a little bit here.
Found
The
him.
detective, the dunce cop, I think. Oh no, it is Ericsson gets into a pickle on the phone after calling Santa a fat man while he's on the phone to the district attorney, who then takes umbrage of that, and it goes on for so long.
Far too long.
I think
So he
that's the bit with
Threatens
the
the kids
ringtone.
again because he's not done that for a while.
Yeah, the kids take it's Hank's idea to take the kids to the dock and then say that they've got to take Santa there and make the house empty because there's going to be a SWAT raid on
Yeah.
their house in an hour. And then the detectives turn up at the house. They can't find Santa, but Hank turns up and Ericsson calls him a good little dog. And then Hank nearly breaks his finger in response to that.
Just
Oh,
put a
yeah.
load of big bollock nonsense here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all very dingy.
It just can't find its level at all.
No, it's all over the place. Santa is in the ghost factory now, isn't he? And have the elves got the other bell that they need?
Yeah, because they got it from the safe.
Yes.
They disappear, don't they, at the moment that
Yeah.
they find the jingle bell? Yeah.
So they're trying to get to Santa to give him the bell. Santa's in the ghost factory, but the ghost factory is surrounded by like a load of mercs. It looked like a load of a load of like a SWAT team, but like with no badges or thingy, so they're clearly like not on the level. So Ericsson's going off the book here.
Putin's goons.
Yeah,
He's just enrolled.
He's inside with Santa. They've handcuffed him and they're
Yeah.
tied him to a chair.
So they've
A
outfoxed.
backless chair.
They've outfoxed the local sheriff because they knew that Santa would go to the docks because he's been there throughout this entire film.
There's only 3 locations.
He wasn't at Mr. Renard's.
Oh no!
So he had to-
So we missed the bit where the children and Santa are running away, and Ericsson grabs the kids and points a gun at them,
Yeah, I said he threatens them.
and Santa goes, "How dare you!" And then Ericsson tries to hit Santa, and Santa
Yeah.
does like Matrix style leaning back. I say Matrix style leaning back.
Santa
car,
is
isn't it?
charged at this point. Does anybody know what the charges are?
Oh,
A lot of things.
He throws a lot of stuff at him.
It does. And it escalates very rapidly. So
Oh.
it's suspicion of customs violations, transporting stolen goods, larceny, grand theft, and conspiracy to commit acts of terror. Is the last charge.
It's all
Threw
about
that one in
plutonium.
there.
Yeah.
Well, he's supposed to have been stockpiling aluminium, and I wonder if that was an error and they meant uranium, because that would probably make sense.
What is
Because it's
Santa making
refined.
with uranium?
It's refined aluminum. Sorry,
Oh, okay, that might be
refined aluminum. So that should be refined uranium, I think.
But what's
Because I don't
Santa
think you
doing with-
refine aluminium. It's
I
just
don't
foil.
think so. No, yeah, it's very fine aluminium. Yeah, so they're in there. The elves are trying to get in, so they launch this doomsday device at the soldiers, which is just a bauble that explodes in like this light of God rapture Ark of the Covenant style light that blinds all these soldiers.
See, I was confused at this point because I thought Santa had done this because he says to Ericsson, "Don't make me make you nice" or something. And then the explosion happens over the roof. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought he's made the dynamic duo nice, and then the SWAT team get hit and they turn into children.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't know.
But it's
They're
like a
obsessed
big
with the
fiery
bears and they're
orb,
like kids
yeah.
again.
Because the elves run on and fire a load of teddy bears at them. They're all like, "Ooh," having like a teddy bear fight and stuff. And it's really weird.
And with all these like balaclava SWAT team people with teddy bears in their hands, I thought this is either terrible film or really good social commentary, and I can't tell which it is. It was a
First
terrible
one
film.
of those,
But
yeah.
then they all go off with like linking arms as if they're all heading home from pub with these
Yeah.
teddy bears.
There's a horrible bit in between though where they tie Santa to a chair.
Yeah.
The
said that,
dunce
didn't
cop
they?
is gushing about the decorations and generally having a whale of a time, as predicted. While Ericsson gets a stuffed lion out and says, "How are you going to explain this, Nick?" And then says that he's going to interrogate Santa with enhanced techniques.
I'm gonna shock Santa's balls out.
Enhanced techniques.
No,
and
he
methods
takes his
included.
coat off and his jacket off, and it's as if he's going to hit him.
Well,
But
enhanced techniques means beating, binding in contorted stress positions, hooding, subjection to deafening noise, sleep disruption, sleep deprivation, deprivation of food and drink, medical care for wounds, doesn't matter, waterboarding, walling, sexual humiliation, subjection to extreme heat or extreme cold, and confinement in small coffin-like boxes.
Wow.
Is what he's threatening Santa with.
so
Right
no
on
wonder
Christmas
Santa makes
Eve.
him nice
He
then.
really is on the naughty list, isn't he? Yes.
Santa says that it's his last chance to stop being naughty, and he asks him about his alien intentions with the human race from the decaying moments of this film.
I'd have thought a better plot device for Ericsson would have been is that like he wanted a certain toy at Christmas or something and Santa never gave him, and that's why he's angry at Santa.
Like
That
wearing
would
Power
be-
Ranger gloves.
So much
that
more
sort of thing.
Hallmark. He
Yeah,
would have
would
been
have
so
been-
much more a Hallmark villain.
As opposed to pushing him in a river or some shit.
Santa nearly accidentally drowned him, and now he's going to drown him back through
Yeah.
waterboarding. It's weird film, man.
Anyway,
There's a massive explosion at this point.
yes,
Yes, we've done that, haven't they? And everyone's happy and Larry, and then
yes.
Santa gets his bells back.
Santa gets his bells back. He shakes them,
Shake them harder, son.
yeah. And then like reindeer appear.
With his
Yep.
sleigh, and he gets changed.
He
He
was
does.
the first time we see him in proper Santa outfit.
It's very sparkly.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
almost
good,
as
this
if
one.
it's a Strictly Come Dancing Santa outfit. And then this was when I realised, why was he flying around before Christmas Eve?
He was because he has to operate his trade network. So he was taking peanuts from like California to trade with people for something else, and then
Right. Okay.
it's like a fetch quest in a computer game where you have to go to like 19 people to get one thing again.
You know, if the Libyans don't get paid, then I don't get paid. And if I don't get paid, Christmas doesn't happen.
Right.
That's why he's doing it. Or he could have just been down the shops to get some fags, like.
And everything in between.
Yeah.
I thought at this point, because this plays on for a long time with him saying goodbye, and he talks to Sophia and whispers something in her ear, and I thought,
Really close. I thought he was going to snog her. Did you not think he was really
based on the rest of this film, that wouldn't have surprised me.
I was wondering what had happened to the detectives, because you don't see them at all. And the implication is
You do.
very heavily that they've died in a fire.
No, you see him.
No,
You do, but after this point.
Oh.
Erickson is in a cage full of teddy bears, and he
That's
gets
'cause
out
the
and
visit.
runs off.
Yeah.
And then Cunningham just goes in there and like covers himself teddy bears
Hi.
and starts crying, "You can't see me now," or something,
He does, yeah.
which was equally dark and baffling.
Yeah, so Erickson in his last moments in this film, I think is he in his underpants or something, or did I imagine that? He's got
Oh,
a
no,
gun.
he's in
He's
his
surrounded
clothes.
by teddy bears. His only friend is a chirruping little rabbit toy that Santa's made, and he's just gibbering on the floor.
No, he goes in and falls over to me, and this rabbit goes, comes over to me. Because he goes to find in the ghost factory the room of toys, and they've all gone. Because the elf goes, "We're way behind quota because you
Yeah.
didn't get that refined aluminium, Santa. So we've had to use MDF." And he goes, "Oh, no, it's fine. I've covered it." He gets it all out of the ghost factory, apart from this one rabbit that Erickson then like falls to his knees and just like cradles to his face.
Yeah, it's macabre, and I
Yeah,
didn't
he's
like
clearly
it.
gone insane, and he'll be eating his own hair soon enough, that man. He
Right,
says,
and then the final scene. Come on.
at this point, the film near enough cuts off of me. He gets on his thing and flies off. He doesn't do the good at Christmas to all and to all a good night. He just goes, "Ho, ho, ho, bye."
No. He gives Sophia a present, and he
He gives
says, "Give
Sophia
that
a present.
to Hank."
Yes, it's a red box, looks about, big enough to contain like a bottle of whiskey or something. And then the film stops for me, and I don't know what's in there.
Because
So
the Dutch thought, fuck this, cut it off, move on
Hank
to
hands
something
the
else.
box to Joanna, and she
Well,
opens it, and inside is
It says to Hank and Joanna on the label.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I saw.
So what do you think it is?
He hangs
I'm gonna guess sea monkeys.
No.
Oh, is it sand art?
Think of a cliche at Christmas.
Oh, is it mistletoe?
It is.
Oh,
Ding, ding, ding,
mate.
ding, ding, ding.
And they have a
Ah,
smooch under it, and then
well,
it cuts out.
the children gibber feverishly around them.
As
This
if
is what
around
they
that.
wanted all along.
Hank's my dad now, and all the other mums will stop shagging him.
Got to lock that down.
And Daniel's like, "Great, now I've got someone else to take to the ghost factory."
And that was
The
the end of
end.
that.
Oh, mate. For the sheer bonkersness of this film, I'm going to give it 3 Silver Fabios. Just because it's so insane in parts of it. It doesn't feel like a Hallmark film.
Yeah. If Cunningham wasn't in it, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much.
No.
And the
Erickson-
strange scene with the confetti as well. That was.
That was,
Oh,
there was
and
good
the
bits
French
in it.
waiter.
The French restaurant. No.
I don't really know what to give this film. I don't know how it can be categorized because it was everywhere. It was all over the shop.
Yes.
I'm going to suggest 1 Silver Fabio, just because, I don't know, there was just something about the detectives chasing everyone around and being chased all at the same time. And the very literal shops and the Frenchman. There was, you're right, there was the cusp of some greatness here.
They just didn't know what it wanted to be. That was the
No.
problem.
But
And
there were
so-
no location questions because you knew exactly where it was filmed.
Yeah,
You didn't
the
have to
docks.
go, "Oh, where are
Or
they
the
now?
medical
Oh,
centre.
they're in the docks."
Docks, medical centre, the house.
The Ghost
are-
Factory. I mean, that is another thing that is a moment of greatness. That the Ghost Factory exists.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to call it everything like that now, the Ghost Factory. Go on, Barney, what are you giving it?
I'll go in the middle, 2 Silver Fabios.
Oh, okay, so that's not bad. That's above average for us, really, with some of the Drek we've watched.
So that was the Santa incident 2010. 2010 also saw Toy Story 3, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Inception, How to Train Your Dragon. I couldn't find a budget for this, but all Christmas Hallmark films are estimated around $2 million budget.
You
So
see
that's
that money on screen.
been burned by Mr. Film. So that's a cool 1.5 million.
That robot alone cost at least 80,000 grand.
Yeah, that was real, and everything else was just photoshopped in around it. So for your 1.5 million, you could get 18 bomb disposal robots. I found out.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're any good. This is just what I've managed to find on Chinese.
Is it the ones that look like a little tank with an arm?
Yeah, with Chinese writing all over the side of it. It's called Topsky, the high-risk task detection robot with 500 meters wireless control. 18 of them. I thought, because they've got little scutter hands, you could kind of use that to sort of manipulate things around the house.
Beer out of the fridge, stuff like that. Yeah.
Either that
500 meters doesn't seem a lot for a bomb disposal robot.
Well, now you come to mention, I mean, that is half a kilometre.
What is that in double-decker buses?
I don't know. The double-decker buses don't run around here. Half a kilometre from a bomb going off.
Yeah, I guess.
Now you come to, it's Chinese.
They only make little bombs. Anyway, go on, moving on.
An army of 146 scary-looking Russian robotic hands that could scamper around. I found some of them. They're about 10 grand each, and they could just scamper around. 146 of them.
like Thing from the Addams Family.
Yeah, but it's a robotic hand.
I quite want one of them. That sounds ace.
And then I also, because I thought it might come up, you can also get 12.85 metric tons of manganese off the Chinese web. Or
Think of how many clockwork robots you could make with that.
I don't know, but however much that equates to from 880 metric tons of aluminium, refined or otherwise.
Doesn't manganese explode in water?
Let's find out.
I'm saying,
let's store it near a dock.
Near a dock and get the bomb disposal robot to push it in.
Right,
And then peg it afterwards.
Another can. Edit that out. So, anybody recognise anyone from this?
Agent Erickson is from Ally McBeal. I recognised him from that.
He's been in a lot of things.
He has been in a lot of stuff, but I most recognise him from.
Yeah.
He's got one of those faces that you go, oh, that's him.
He was also in Atlas Shrugged Part 3. I've always wanted to watch the Atlas Shrugged series because it's supposed to be terrible.
It is
like the book.
Yeah. And Santa himself has been in loads of stuff. He is
James Cosmo. Yeah.
Yes, which is an ace name as well. Sounds like you should have a drink named after you.
He's Jorah Mormont in Game of Thrones. As you pointed out, he's in Braveheart, Highlander, Troy, and probably most central to this, he played Father Christmas in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So that's
yeah.
And I watched that earlier this week as well.
The Disney one.
And he looks so much like Santa Claus that I didn't even recognize it because I just thought, oh, that's Santa Claus playing himself. He's really good at that.
And yeah, in this one, he looks like a man that would be huffing paint around the back of a 7-Eleven. So.
Well, he was also one of the nudie miners in Chernobyl. So.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, of course he was. Yeah. Along with Trevor from EastEnders, weren't it? Yeah.
Joanna was played by, I think it's Ione Skye. That's Donovan's daughter. I thought you'd like that.
Is it?
It's Donovan's son. Yeah, and she also played the pastor's wife in Arrested Development. Take me to your secular world. It's her.
God, yes.
World colliding.
Wow. This is I'm going up to 4 Silver Fabios.
Hank was played by Jonathan Kerrigan, who's actually an English musician who made a crossover into acting in the 90s, and he's appeared in Casualty, Heartbeat, Emmerdale, Holby City, and nothing of note.
Oh, I was going to say he looks like a generic Hallmark man.
I know. Yeah. I thought he was American, but
He'll be a lawyer and a carpenter.
Fair play to him.
And a cop.
The kids actually went on to do fairly well. Ali Lyons was the girl, went on to star in Game of Thrones. I don't know what as. And the kid, Scott Graham, went on to star in Vikings. So there you go.
Good watch.
And because it piqued my interest, Mr. Renard, played by Dominique Monod, and roughly
He's really
French.
He's really French. Roughly 40% of his acting jobs have been as French waiters.
Oh, mate, that's sad.
I'm going to track them all down.
But his most recent role was as the Metal Dragon in The End of the Earth is My Home, 2012, a science fiction adaptation of a traditional Asian story of a monkey king.
Yes, please.
I don't know. I've not had a good track record with picking stuff.
But he saves any film, so it's fine.
If he's a metal dragon in that, going, no, monkey king. No crisps for you.
So this also has got
That's throwing quass on side.
I don't know, Bernie, whether you picked up on this. It's got a Dove.org rating on it.
Oh, does it?
I don't want to spill over into that if you've
No, I haven't.
if you've focused on other types of review. So I don't know where the overall figure is here for this, but it got a 1 on sex. I don't know if that's good or not.
That's good. There's none.
It got a 2 on language.
Well, he does threaten.
Yeah.
It's not explicit language, but
He threatens to bury Santa.
It doesn't matter. It's like if you talk back to a parent or if you're disrespectful and stuff like that. That's how it all counts.
I've got the review here, so we'll double check.
In the Dove.org world, it's not like the other
It's
one.
got a 1 for violence, even though someone physically attacked Santa, and there's a lot of grabbing children.
Physically attack Santa. They blind a load of soldiers.
And it's got
Lionel beats up a pilot.
And there's a 1 scoring under other, which is husband abandoned family a few years ago. Wife still wears wedding ring, which I can assume is approval. Like she still wears the wedding ring.
Oh, what's the score for that? Or is that just under
1
bisque?
plus 1.
Yeah, that'll
So
be.
that averages out to about 1.5 overall, I'd say.
That'll be a good thing for Dove.org. Then that'll be a watch this film. It's great.
It's got the seal of approval.
Yeah.
12 plus, it says. I don't think anyone should watch this.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's just bizarre.
Oh,
I
under
rented it. I've
sex.
got 24 hours to watch it again.
Keep watching it.
Under sex, it got 1 because a man and a woman share a kiss under mistletoe,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
probably the most chaste way to experience a
It's
kiss.
because
but there
he's
we
not
go.
her husband.
Yeah.
It doesn't
But
say that, but
No,
No,
but
we know
that's-
how Dove.org works. That's why.
Yeah.
So it says after Santa is shot down by a jet's missile, Leipzig. He befriends a couple of kids who help him complete his toy making until the elves can rescue him.
And laugh.
This is a fun, light-hearted romp that will have your family laughing along with Santa as he thwarts the government agent's plans. There is a bit of slapstick violence, but nothing too rough. Due to some mild language issues, Dutch, we have awarded the Santa incident our Dove family-approved seal for ages 12 and over.
Imagine that. It's your 12th birthday. Okay, sit down. You can now watch this. Cheers, Mum. I can't remember there being any bad language in it, to be honest. Not even like hex and stuff.
No, I can't either.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is because I think the kids talk back at one point, innit? Yeah.
And,
Or they disobey a parent. And it mentions ghosts, which don't exist in the Christian world.
The Frenchman says sacre bleu.
That's it. Oh, yeah, minus a point for foreigners in an American film.
And yeah, that's it.
Right, on my usual review finding platform, there was a total of 7 reviews for this.
Yes.
So
That is a
I've gone for a low one first. So Kingman in 2017
I'll prove you the most alpha in the room, Pink Man.
gave it a 3 out of 10 and labelled it as a pretty dismal holiday fare. With a
Man
whole-
nearly made me spit my beer all the way across the
Sorry, I tried to find Movie Man Kev, but I couldn't find him.
Ah.
With a Hallmark Christmas movie, you pretty much know going in a lot of the plot elements. A bit of romance, some misunderstandings, the children are precious and usually quite nice, but if not, reformable, and the ending is preordained. Yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah.
TSI follows... Oh, TSI.
TSI? TSI Miami.
TSI, the doc.
At the docks in Miami.
It follows the pattern, but compared it doesn't manage to creep up to the average bar. There really isn't much chemistry between anyone. The Keystone Cop element falls flat, and in a surprise to me in a movie aimed at the younger set. Not only are guns pulled, but the feds even threaten children. That last is really odd for a Hallmark movie. When Hallmark is in the Christmas spirit, there are multiple channels play, so flip past this one and hit one of their other shows. It has got to be better.
King Man speaks the truth.
Yep.
We should
Yeah,
make him
spot
king.
on.
Metal Dragon can fight King Man.
And then I was going to look for more, so I found a top one, and then I've just left it as this because it's brilliant, and when I
Go
read
on.
it, you'll know why. So, Annabelle Davis, 17,141, reviewed this in 2016 and gave it a 10 out of 10 and labelled it fabulous.
Okay.
Ophelia, how nice of you to leave a pleasant little comment here. First, may I begin by wishing you, as Michael Bublé said, a merry little Christmas. This is a fine quality movie with fabulous acting and a great storyline. storyline. It shows love, loss, power, and grief. It spreads a little bit of hope to a few of us this Christmas time and leaves everybody, in cap, feeling festive no matter your age. It says that I have to write 10 lines for it to be valid, but I feel that my opinion is indecent enough of a nutshell. Signing off, Santa Claus.
I feel like I feel like I've walked in on Act 4 of a play there.
Who is Ophelia?
So you're
Annabelle. No.
saying, once I'd read that was it. I couldn't go any further.
Sorry, not Annabelle, but Annabelle of the iteration 7000. What the Christ was that?
I don't know whether she was having a stroke, she was taking the mick, she
I
got confused as to what film she was writing about.
love, loss, power, and grief.
Yeah.
No, he then abandoned him in a heroin den.
But it leaves
Oh.
everybody feeling festive.
It didn't. It left me feeling confused and tired. Oh my
So
god.
I couldn't top it, so that's that.
No, that's fine. In conclusion, go on.
I was just going to say I'm going to check for more reviews by her and see what happens.
She's did all of them in character.
We only do her films now.
I've just found her on IMDb. That's the only film she's reviewed.
Oh, is it?
So maybe she is Father Christmas. Oh, hang on. No, wait. Nope, she's just done that one. Oh, how
It's the only film
disappointing.
she's ever seen, mate. Of course she's given it a 10.
Santa's busy the rest of the year, hauling tin from South Africa. Oh, my lord. In conclusion, that was TSI, or the Santa incident. Any final words? Your favourite line from the film? The best bit?
No, I can't pay you.
Sacre bleu! Invaders!
Mr.
You know
Ronaldo's the best.
Confession of Ash. I told him we already got one.
Oh, bye-bye, Ophelia.
Bye-bye. Have a happy Christmas.
Bye. Jingle, 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 jingle.
Oh, oh, oh.
It's about Russia's greatest love machine.